First and foremost, peace, family. I come to you in peace. I come to you because I love you. I come to you because I recognize you as my brother, as my sister, as family, spiritual family, connected in this humane experience for the sake of conscious and spiritual evolution for the whole of the family. Because of this foundation, this spiritual foundation, this psychological foundation, I am available and ready to always fulfill the required work to liberate my people from the oppression that we experience in many different degrees, many different areas, in many different forms. And my work is to observe, study, investigate, and examine these systems, these strategies, these actions being taken by the enemy, our oppressor, in order to evolve, in order to first gain information to be applied toward the conscious evolution out of these situations and out of these circumstances. This is nothing that's going to magically happen for us. This is work that we must do on purpose. On purpose means consciously. There is no fluke. I'm not a man sitting around waiting for a ghost to come out the sky, because I am conscious right now what's going on. I know that information has been made available, and I seize every opportunity to rectify these evil conditions and these evil activities being conducted on my earth, because I'm here and my family is here. And as long as we are here, on no level will we tolerate unrighteous works, evil works, corruption, anything that opposes or works against the harmony of the people, the animals, the plants, all life forms. All life forms will be harmonious according to the design. And that means that those who are conscious must take conscious actions to address any threats to our harmony. With that said, the only thing you need to know about me right now is that I am your brother. If you are watching this video, that means that you have been recognized to consciously embrace a course or information that will relieve you from whatever circumstances that you are experiencing now that disrupts the peace and order of your day. So I'm going to start with the foundation of our oppressive element, our oppressive environment. These elements of this environment are not anything that is beyond the understanding of any intelligent mind. So because they are not producing any systems that's beyond the scope of our capacity to diagnose, when we put forth the effort to examine and diagnose it, we can solve the problem. This is what your brother has done in works with other brothers to do research and gain information. So, with that being said, first I want to briefly discuss the understanding of a sovereign walk. First, I encourage all who are experiencing this particular presentation to get into your dictionaries, get into your Black's Law, and look these words up, look these terms up, to have full and complete and thorough understanding of all meanings that correlate with the term, because you may be using terms in ignorance, not knowing that this term has one meaning in this particular situation or setting, and the same term can have another meaning in this particular situation or setting. So you have to take your own initiative to read these dictionaries, to read these law dictionaries, to understand the language being used against you. You can only be played on your own ignorance. Dealing with sovereignty, let's get to it. First and foremost, when you come out the womb, automatically, these hospitals have to tag you with the receipt. That means you are property to them. The receipt is the birth certificate. That is the demonstration that a product has been manufactured. You know what I'm saying? And the manufacturer are your parents. And the purchaser or the consumer who acquired the product would be the government. So for acquiring your baby, you in turn get a receipt, your birth certificate. And you may think, well, if they have my baby, then why do I get to take my baby home? Well, they have your baby. Or if they don't have your baby, why can they take your baby whenever they feel like it? If they don't have your baby, why can they tell the parents who's responsible for the child, who has to pay for the child, and trumps parents' decisions over the child? The only way anyone would have authority to make decisions over your baby, over your child, is if you have a contract with them that gives them that authority. That would be your birth certificate. They have evidence that you have received, that you have gifted your child over to them. Stop registering your babies with the fucking state. Kill that birth certificate shit. You're giving them away. 2, once they own your baby, they sell it. It's slavery. Just because you ain't getting sold on auction blocks back in the day, don't mean you ain't getting sold. You have to evolve into these times. You have to evolve into understanding of the development of this scheme. It didn't happen overnight. When you sell something, it is tagged with a barcode. That's how you know the product made money. The product is scanned on that barcode, and the information pops up on the computer that lets you know what you need to know about the product, value, etc., etc. Your social security number is your barcode. You don't make money without your social security number being attached to the work, to the job. Why is that? Because without the social security number being attached to the job, your owner cannot get paid. The worker or the employer cannot scan you and pay your owner. You know what I mean? So the first work to be done for any man or woman who demands and is willing to enforce their freedom is to totally and utterly destroy the birth certificate and the social security card or number from their experience, unless they're going to use it to their advantage and reverse the effects of those tools that have been used against them. All right? This is initiative. Initiative to gain the understanding, initiative to do the work. So, getting back to this relationship, one, understand that the United States of America is not a country, it's a company. This is a company that's located within the parameters of Washington, D.C. Outside of that, everything else is foreign territory. When you navigate on the land, you navigate as a citizen. When you claim to be a citizen, you claim to proudly be a slave with a social security number, gifted through birth certificate. And because of your pride in that, you are now bound by your slave masters, or your bosses, or that company that owns you. You are the goods of the United States of American company when you claim to be a citizen. The alternative to be a citizen, let's look up the word citizen. I'm going to go ahead and use the Oxford Dictionary because, you know, they like that shit. I don't give a fuck about any of these words these white boys made up. I only learn them to let them know I know what the hell going on. So, citizen, legally recognized subject or national of a state or commonwealth. Subject. Let's look up subject. Subject. A person or thing that is being discussed, described, or dealt with. Stop right there. When you are a citizen, you are being discussed, described, or dealt with. That means that your intelligence, your mind, has no bearing in it has no bearing or regard when it comes to the decisions being made by your the motherfuckers you vote for, your politicians, your congressmen, your senators, your house, these bullshit bitch ass presidents, etc., etc., etc. When you are identified by them as a subject, as a citizen, something to be dealt with and described and discussed, you have no intelligence. You are not an intelligent mind. You are not an intelligent being. You are something that somebody needs to decide what to do with, and best believe whatever that decision is, it fulfills their purpose, not the subjects. You know what I'm saying? So to claim yourself to be a citizen is to proudly and boldly claim to be a subject to whatever entity that you are a citizen or subject of. To be subject is to be slave. Okay? What is the alternative to being a subject? Being a slave. This is where this conversation needs to basically we need to be more comfortable with the alternative to being a subject or a slave. Many people in America, most people in America, feel like there is no alternative to being a subject or a slave. You are mind fucked. You are mentally raped if you think that you, an intelligent being, have one choice, and that is to be subject or slave to some legal fictitious entity like the United States of America. So the alternative is your sovereignty, to be sovereign. Let's look up sovereign. Sovereign, a supreme ruler, the ultimate power. This is your natural status. This means if I was not sold off rip through my birth certificate and tagged with that barcode, that social security number, who would be making decisions for me? Well, me. I would be a young infant being nursed, growing up into a little baby, starting to be aware, then a child, starting to ask questions, and then not a kid, but a young male being now educated to read and do math, asking more questions. And then by the time I'm a man, I would have acquired information to observe and study and discern and make decisions for myself. And this is how I would naturally discover what courses to take that would lead to a fulfilled life. Now, what I just said may be totally beyond the scope of, well, is totally beyond the scope of slave thinking, because everything I said is revolved around accountability, responsibility, or liability for my own actions. I don't need no bitch ass, politician to tell me what the fuck is best for me. So, not to talk your head off, but it's essential that we understand the relationship between being citizen and being sovereign. Because it's this foundation, it's this understanding that will allow you to embrace the information that will overnight, wholly change your circumstances when applied. I use what is called an affidavit of status to demonstrate my relationship with the United States of America when approached by their officers or their agents. This affidavit details, using their codes, my status as a sovereign man, independent of the United States Corporation, and further details the consequences for imposing the will of a legal fiction on me when I have clearly discerned myself to be of a separate entity from them, and therefore anything that they do or any actions that they take to continue to impose their will would indeed bring about consequences. So in that regard, first we need to understand the relationship between you as a sovereign, not as a citizen, interacting with an officer or agent of legal fiction, which is the United States of America. Understand, if you have to understand your enemy, you have to study him. If you have to learn your enemy, you need to know, not believe, know the foundation and the infrastructure from which it operates. The United States is bounded by the Constitution of the United States of America. When a product or a creation has been made manifest, such as the United States, I say it that way because this is some bitch ass shit that came from white devils' minds. So when you got these slave owning white devils conceiving a system, clearly that system is not to support the slave. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that the system was conceived in a mind means that the system cannot ever trump another mind. That which is produced is never greater than that which produced it. So that means first, understand the creation. Alright, these devils created this shit. What they created for? Obviously they created to murder me and my family. So off rip, I can't fuck with it. How do I know they created to murder me and my family? Well, when they created it, my family was being enslaved, murdered, and raped. Are you suggesting that you equally represented them when you wrote this shit? While you were raping them and fucking them and enslaving them and beating them? Are you suggesting that you equally represented them also in the document? Bullshit. We have the evidence that proves that that is all bullshit. So with that said, we know that this is a system conceived to destroy people of color in America. With that understanding, you also know that anything a man creates, he must include with it an operating manual. That's so other men who have to use this shit or experience this shit can say, hey man, what's this shit you made? Understand, the government only exists through the people, through their will. It's in your Constitution if you know how to read. So the other men can say, hey man, what's this shit you made up, then created? Cause for real, if that shit ain't cool, me and the bros right here about to tear that shit down, burn it, and throw your ass in the fucking fire. So you better let us know what this shit is about, and it better be cool and beneficial to all of us. So them bitch ass white boys, because it was only other bitch ass white boys to deal with, was like, oh no, this shit cool. Here's an operating manual. That would be the United States of America Constitution. That's what you have a constitution for. That's what you have operating manuals for. Whatever's created, a manual got to come with it to let a man know, a mind know what the purpose of this thing is. Its restrictions. You know what I'm saying? It's duties. With folks, we need to know if it's out of whack. We need to know how to put it down if it gets out of whack. You know what I'm saying? This is what's up with your Constitution. That's the purpose of it. It's to manage. It's to give you information about this bullshit system, this bullshit creation made to enslave you. So, first thing we know about the United States of America, the corporation, is that any corporation, any business, any company has work that they solicit. The United States of America solicits the work to protect and to serve. Oh, really, bitch? Well, I got to ask. Who you protecting? Well, I know who you protecting by who you murdering. When you have to protect. I see you murdering black folks. That tells me you protecting white motherfuckers. Period. If you're murdering people of color, you're protecting somebody else. Put it that way. You know what I'm saying? Who you serving? Well, you serve somebody every time you're giving us a ticket or locking us up or coming at us with some bullshit. So if you serving somebody else by these actions toward us, then I know the service ain't for us. You know what I'm saying? We are the byproduct of your service. We are your mechanism to fulfill your work. Without us, you got no service. Because we the only problem to y'all bitch ass motherfuckers. Y'all who are being served or protected by the government. So I tell my brothers and sisters who have recognized themselves to be the enemy of this company, and whoever owns and buys into it, and whoever reaps the rewards of it, we are enemies of these motherfuckers. You have to establish yourself separately from your enemy. Otherwise, your enemy will consume you. Sovereignty is the path or the course in which you can take. There may be other courses. I know of this one. I've executed this one. I've demonstrated this one consistently. It's a course in which you take to separate yourselves and make the separation clear and lawful by presenting a contract, this affidavit that says that your services to protect and to serve have been wholly declined, denied, rejected by me. And because I decline that shit, I reject your services, I don't want shit to do with you, you got no reason to ever fucking speak to me. And if you do speak to me, I'm going to let you know one time. We have no business together. I have declined your services. I've rejected you. You are a part of what I resist. So, in demonstrating your, what's the word I'm looking for? In demonstrating your initiative to address your enemy as an enemy, you are now taking action toward the liberation of your mind and therefore your entire human experience. So, what I also have to, in addition to the affidavit, is what's called a sovereign license plate. The purpose behind this license plate is to, before you even get pulled over when navigating on the land, to force your enemy into a contract before blue lighting you, before turning those lights on. Sovereign is on the tag. That means when these bitch ass police officers get behind you and look at the tag and see the sovereign, they know that once they pull you over or blue light you, they have already entered or trespassed on foreign territory because you are beyond the scope of their jurisdiction lawfully. It's on the tag. Now, if these fools don't know no better, because they are fucking fools and faggots, then you have one job to do, and that's to educate that motherfucker when he gets to the window by handing him your affidavit First, address that bitch ass motherfucker as a public servant, slave, which he is. He took an oath to do that shit, not you. Let him know he took the oath. Say, if you're a competent bitch, read this. Make them read that shit. They give it back. You move on about your day. So you ask me, what are these plates? Well, like I said, I've been studying this for quite a while. I've taken action. I'm not a nigga out there talking shit. I'm a king. I recognize myself to be a god. And I walk as one. A righteous man. Wholly righteous in nature and walk and works. Calculate every action before I do them. I say that to say, the system, the United States of America Corporation, has been coerced by me into recognizing me as a sovereign entity, as a sovereign state, separate from all that bullshit they got going on with the United States of America. They know they have no lawful recourse for ever interacting with me. It's the same as interacting with any other motherfucker on the planet, in the world, outside the United States. You on their territory at that point in time. How is this possible? Well, now we're getting down to liability, accountability, and responsibility. These are things that Americans avoid at all fucking costs. And this is why you are bitches, and this is why you are slaves. If you would not take accountability and liability and responsibility for yourself, then someone has to take liability and accountability and responsibility for you. And whoever does that for you, you they bitch. You know what I'm saying? Unless it's your brother. Then your brother or sister will protect you. But if it's one of them fucking devils, you they bitch. And I see a lot of bitches proudly roaming around this land, this American land. So when you drive, the process is, first I got to get a license. Well, that's what let's look up license. License. A permit from an authority to own or use something or do a particular thing. That means if you require a license or a permit, you are not the authority. You have to go to your authority to get one. Bitch. Registration of the car. Same shit. To register your car is to ask that state for permission to navigate with that vehicle. Bitch. So what's the alternative to being the bitch of these states? Having a license, having a registration. Well, separate yourself from the motherfuckers and do what you do according to your own authority. Let me tell you what a right is. When you have a right to do something, you don't ask for it. It's yours already. You don't have to fight for it. It's yours. That's what a right is. You know what I mean? A right is not a negotiable tool. He who has rights enforces the right. Bitch, by all means, when I say I have a right, if you don't feel like I have that right, come try to obstruct me from doing it and see what happens to you. But I ain't asking you for my motherfucking rights. I'm letting you know I have my rights and I enforce them myself. So the alternative to being a bitch of whatever state you register your car, whatever state you get your license, here's why I say they bitch. Because essentially, once they've assumed responsibility and accountability for you, liability for you, you gotta do what they say. Hey, motherfucker, I said you can drive, but you better go this speed limit. And you better not run these signs or do that shit. And you better not be doing this shit while you're driving. And you better not have this shit in the car. And this is, I can tell you what the fuck to do when I gave you the permission to do it. When you came to me and acknowledged me as your authority. You know what I'm saying? I can tell you what the fuck to do. And that's why y'all get hemmed up with these codes, these traffic violations, these traffic codes. And they're hitting you with a breach of contract. You have contracted with them. And given cause to be recognized as subservient to them, because you have identified them via contract to be your authoritative figure, or they're not even a figure, an entity. legal fictitious entity. So, I'm a brother who has established this relationship to be separate of these bitch ass motherfuckers. United States of America and all affiliations, all officers, all agents. I hate them all. Now I'm gonna tell you the real straight up. I ain't no fucking babysitter. I ain't in your business. That ain't my style. I just need my brothers and sisters to understand a couple motherfucking things. One, ain't no fucking civil war coming to America. Alright? That bitch is here and been here. And if you ain't in warfare mindset right now, your motherfucking ass is gonna get murked. You're dead. Because the people who are conscious of the war ain't fucking around with motherfuckers who ain't playing, who ain't studying and paying attention to it. Because they the bitch ass motherfuckers that's the weak link that's gonna get you fucked up. So you're exiled from the circle of conscious because you're ignorant. And the alternative is to continue being a fucking slave. So they gonna kill you because that's what happened to slaves. They die when their feet and hands don't work no more. You know what I'm saying? So I say that to say, in order to rock with us and to be a part of this band who we identify ourselves as the Noun Band, N-O-W, the Natural Order Work. You got them faggot motherfuckers out there trying to do the NWO New World Order. Yeah, that shit ain't never happening. We killing them. Because now, the natural order work is banding together, disseminating this information, waking up brothers and sisters, and taking action to liberate each other, to get around, to get to more brothers and sisters. That's what this initiative is. That's what this work is about. So I said it to say, you have no babysitters if you decide to rock with us. If you decide to, and this is a personal, individual choice, you must grow the fuck up. Take responsibility for your own actions and your own situations and circumstances. Embrace accountability for your own actions, for your own thoughts. Assume the liability, the consequences that come from the work that you did or did not do. You have to. It's the only way to demonstrate consciousness. Consciousness ain't no shit you can say you have and just go around and be a fucking slave and bitch. You know motherfuckers conscious by what they do, how they walk, how they address these bitch ass motherfuckers. That's how you know who conscious. You know who a slave and who not a slave. The second words come out the mouth, that energy is projected. You know who. So I said that to say, if you decide to band with your brothers and your sisters, then please do your due diligence in understanding your relationship to this legal fiction. Identify your enemy, explore resolve, check on everything I've expressed in this video. Make sure that never take a man's word for shit. Go do your own research. Try to debunk me. You know what I'm saying? Come back to me with some shit if the shit don't all the way add up. That's the way I know you out there working. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I need you free. You're my brother. You're my sister. I love you. I don't have to know you personally to want you free and to want you to be able to navigate around this land, fulfilling your purpose to wake up everyone and prepare for warfare. It's warfare right now. We are banding together. And this license plate situation is a resource that we can use and are using to reverse the effects of the system on itself. So when you demonstrate that you want to navigate and be according to your divine design, which is a God, sovereign in nature, intelligent being, able to exist and be on your own understanding. Not your own understanding that's been given to you. The understanding that you gain from the work that you did to explore and discover information and to deduce information to determine what's a lie and what's the truth. To apply the information to know it instead of believe it. This is what I mean. Understand? I mean work, essentially. I need to know y'all ready for warfare. I need to know y'all understand the times. And I need to know that you ain't no selfish motherfucker out there for yourself. I need to know that you're going to use this freedom to free others. This is the revolution. And it's time to take action now, because it's been time. And at the end of the day, those who do not embrace the time at hand to seize the opportunities displayed before you right now by the universe to reverse the effects of everything you've ever complained about in your whole life. Those who do not embrace this time have consciously chosen to die or perish in their misery, their delusions, and they have wasted and squandered this human experience, and the soul suffers for that. Peace.